Thanks everyone for coming out. My name is Hans Daniels. I'm the director of the Sleep Specialty Center. We're right around the corner off of Embry. So yeah, my name is Hans. I am not from Germany, even though you would think that. I have been to Germany, and everybody there that said their name is Hans was about your age. So there's not a lot of young Hanses here or in Germany. But I'm here to talk to you today about sleep apnea. Have you guys heard of sleep apnea? It's pretty well known at this point. I don't know if you know, but there's several kinds of sleep apnea. We have central sleep apnea, mixed sleep apnea, hypopneas, and obstructive sleep apnea. And we're going to talk about obstructive sleep apnea today. So if you would, this is where you need a partner. I need you to look at your partner and each other, open your mouth really wide, and look in your mouth. I know, they got cookies in their mouth. Besides cookies, what else do you see in there? You got teeth? You got your tongue? Like deep in there. What do you see?
Uvula.
You got a uvula?
Yeah.
There's something back there called the soft palate. That's just kind of like extra skin hanging down. So obstructive sleep apnea is when you sleep, all of that in your airway relaxes and closes. And obstructive sleep apnea is when it closes for 10 seconds while you sleep. Now it's not dangerous because you're stopping breathing and you're not going to start breathing again. It's dangerous because while your airway is closed, your oxygen level drops and your brain wakes up. And you might not remember waking up over and over. It can happen 30 times an hour. That's a severe case. And what can this cause? With the constant waking up and oxygen level dropping, obviously you're going to be tired during the day because you're constantly waking up and going to sleep. It can cause heart problems, high blood pressure. What are a couple things that we can do to, how do you know if you have sleep apnea?
Your wife tells you you're snoring.
There you go.
Right?
Your wife tells you you're snoring.
Yes.
So that's probably the number one indicator of having sleep apnea. People say, my wife tells me I snore, or my husband tells me I snore. So what if you're alone? What if nobody's there? What if your wife's snoring too and she doesn't even hear you? That's when you would go into a sleep center. And that's what we have. I've brought a couple little things that at our sleep center, there's you'll come in about 8:30 at night and you get hooked up to all these electrodes. They're reading brain waves, they're reading, have you had a sleep study? So you've been through it. You guys both have like the perfect head to put these electrodes on.
Don't think that as a compliment.
No, it's a great thing. As a technician, when you see someone coming in that's got little or no hair, you're like, man, this is going to be an easy night. Now yours, you've got to part the hair and get these electrodes on. There's about 30 of them all together with electrodes and belts. And these are going to read your breathing, your brain waves. There's some on your chin that read submental muscle activity. That means we're reading muscle activity that you don't even really think about. All right, so we read all of that at the sleep lab. There's in recent advances in sleep medicine, they've come out with a home sleep test where you can actually get a sleep study at home, which is pretty cool because you get to go with your normal routine. You eat dinner, you brush your teeth, you go to bed just like you normally do. There's not as many wires. Instead of 30, there's 3, which, a home study is great for diagnosing obstructive sleep apnea. Insurance has said that they will take that as a diagnosis if you get a home sleep study. The problem is, if a wire comes off at night, there's not a technician watching you. you know, and sometimes it's repeated more than once just to get the same results as an in-lab study. So let me back up a little bit. I jumped ahead of myself and tell you, how many of y'all have been to a sleep center? Wow, like half the group. That's great. So was it as bad as you pictured in your head, or did you kind of know what to
The
expect?
Apnea or the sleep center?
The sleep center itself.
It's very pleasant.
Right.
Looked like a Hilton hotel.
It
but
did.
It had the ambiance.
It did. So my brother trained me on the job 14 years ago. So I was the earliest sleep tech at the age of 8. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't start at 8. I started at 19, and when he told me that I was going to be doing sleep studies in a sleep lab, I thought, this is, I thought of one of those two-way mirrors, you know, like scientists standing in on the other side with a clipboard and a metal bed with someone laying there. But it's exactly like you said. It's like the Hilton. Even the entryway is pretty welcoming. It's kind of like your living room. So it's not as bad as you think. But the home study is a new option. The third option, which is it's a screening tool. It's not necessarily a test. And I'm going to pass these around. Just take one and pass it around. I have some pens. And this is a quiz. I'm going to give you an open book quiz. You can cheat. And at the end, you know, we'll go through it together. You can take a pen, pass it down.
Pardon?
You want a water? Here, I'll get you one. There you go. You want one also? Okay, so do you snore, or has anyone ever told you you snore loud enough where you can be heard in the room next door? Okay. Do you often feel tired, fatigued, sleepy during the day? Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm just getting old. Now, of course I feel tired. But that might not be the case. You might have thought, well, I'm just getting old until you fix the sleep apnea.
Could activity have something to do with that too?
Yeah.
I feel like there should be an in-between on that one.
Well, yeah, if you, let's mark out tired and fatigued and just say sleepy. Do you feel sleepy during the day? If no, just circle no. Has anyone ever told you that you stopped breathing while you're asleep? Do you have or are being treated for high blood pressure? Yes or no? Okay, this is the one that's interesting. BMI more than 35. So flip your page over, and on the left side, find your height in inches, and then follow it over until you hit your weight, and you can circle that number and scroll up to the top, and there'll be a number between 19 and 54.
Very useful chart.
You don't need this.
Explains it, obviously.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah. So if you, does anybody have any questions?
5 feet 4 inches, what does that mean?
64. So 64 inches. So right there,
Okay.
and then follow it across until you hit your weight. So you're in the normal. So it's all right. So what's your height? 5'8", so that'd be 68. 5'8", 68.
Oh, 68.
Yep. And then your weight. So what we're looking for is anything above 35. So you're underneath that. So so you don't have to share your answers. You don't have to tell what your grade is. But we're going to keep going. Is everybody got number 5? Okay. So number 6, age 50 years or older.
Looked like an answer that one.
You didn't need to